In this video we're going to talk about changing the knitting cylinder on the FAK knitting machine. As you can see, the yarn is now in the cylinder and the machine is set up for knitting. So we'll go through the steps to remove the cylinder. Step 1, we need to drop the yarn from the cylinder. So we're going to shut off the meter head here, the switch in the off position. Then we break the yarn. Okay. And I jog the machine until the fabric drops. The fabric is now dropped from the cylinder. When I open the gate, you will see that the fabric has fallen. I am going to turn the take-up. There's a knob on this side. And I'm going to remove the yarn from the take-up. The cylinder will always rotate this direction, the take-up. This gray handle I will pull out, and that will allow me to remove my spool from the machine. The other thing I want to do is this bar. I will push in and move the lever up. That is a tension bar. Okay, now I'll close the door. Okay, up here, remove the cylinder. So we will shut the power off on the machine, and the air pressure, we make an adjustment down to 0. So the air is turned off. Okay. First step here, this yarn guide, we need to loosen it from the handle and lift this off the machine, the yarn guide. Next step is to remove this tube from the fitting. So the orange I will push in and the tube will come out. This is a quick fitting, so all I do is push the orange up, I can pull the tube out. Now the next step, each side of the cylinder I have a clamp, the cylinder clamp. So I will loosen the screw. This is a cylinder clamp, one from each side. We remove the cylinder clamps, and now we will remove this sinker cap. The sinker cap screw is contacting the post here. This actually rotates. I'll just turn it a little bit and lift this up. The sinker cap just lifts up and off. Sinker cap. So far I have removed 4 pieces. Sinker cap, the yarn guide, and the 2 clamps. Next step is to raise all of the needles. Before we can lift the cylinder up, we have to remove the needles which are trapped at the cams. So on this side of the machine, there is a device called the raise cam. This raise cam has a knob, and we raise this as high as it will go and turn the screw. Now if you look here, you will see that the cam is pushing all the needles up, top position on the cylinder. Once we have the raise cam up, we now need to rotate the cylinder one revolution to raise all the needles up. I will use the take up and begin to turn my cylinder. Before I go too far, I want to check the height of my needles and this cam. There is a cam here. I must make sure my needles are high enough that they will go over this cam. If they hit this cam, you will damage the needles. As we go around, you see that the needles are above the cam, so we'll just continue to turn until all the needles are released and raised. Looking at our cylinder now, we see all the needles are raised up. I can lower my raise cam back down, tighten it to lock it, and now my cylinder is ready for removal. Now when you raise the cylinder, you want to raise it, just gently lift it up. You don't want to put any pressure side to side. So we put fingers on both sides and slowly we lift the cylinder up from the machine. Looking at our spindle, this is the spindle which rotates the cylinder. You'll see there's a key here because on the cylinder there is a key way here. So the keyway goes into the key, that's how the cylinder rotates. The last thing we need to look at are the shims. And the shims are located in the bottom of the cylinder. They are brass pieces which look like this. The shims are spacers which go under the cylinder. To remove the shims, we use a needle, grab it and lift it up. And that is cylinder removal.